Hi, welcome everybody. This is the Tea Appreciation Workshop by Tea Cottage. I'm Francis, you can call me Zhen Jie as well. So the agenda for today, it will be on different types of tea, natural and artificial flavoring, pesticides, investment value of tea, and different types of health benefits of different tea as well. So I have more than 10 years of experience in the industry. I'm trained by a tea veteran of more than 50 years of experience and held many talks in Singapore and overseas and in the communities as well. So for the introduction of tea actually is the second most consumed beverage in the world after water. So in US it's 80 billion cups, in China it's trillions of cups. So there's a lot of debate that who actually discovered tea. So actually 5,000 years ago, Shenlong Emperor was the person who discovered tea when the tea leaf accidentally blew into his pot of boiling water. So Shenlong Emperor, in Chinese we call Shenlong Dadi. He's the person who taught agriculturing skills to the peasants of China. So all tea actually comes from this plant called Camellia sinensis and contains caffeine and unique antioxidants called flavonoids. If the tea doesn't contain any caffeines like chrysanthemum, chamomile, strictly speaking, they don't belong to this tea family. So there's many different types of tea. Recently, the white tea is quite popular. It's grew in China, and we call it Bai Hao Ying Zhen, silver needle in English. For the most famous green tea in the world and in China is Longjing, and for Japanese tea is called Sencha. When we eat bak kut teh, we always have Tie Guanyin, and Tie Guanyin is part of the oolong family from Fujian Anxi, and this is the most expensive tea is Da Hong Pao. Da Hong Pao from the original bush from Ming Dynasty actually cost 10 million US dollars per kilograms. For black tea, English breakfast tea is very famous in Singapore. Lapsam Xiuzhong is actually the first black tea in the world. We will elaborate on the Lapsam in the later slides. So for fully fermented black tea, we actually have Pu'er tea and Liu Bao tea from Guangxi. The Cantonese call it Lok Bo. So flavonoids, the antioxidants, actually helps to eradicate free radicals, helps us to have anti-aging effects, anti-radiation, prevent radical damages, antibacterial, and may aids in suppressing HIV. These are all the research that you can find online as well. So based on the worldwide nutritionist recommendation, the number one antioxidant food is actually tea. So in the Japanese research, people who drink 4 cups of tea a day are more unlikely to get cancer because of this compound called EGCG. Then it inhibits the cancer cells to grow. So when they cannot grow big enough, it will self-destruct. And in black tea, there's this compound called TF2 that causes colorectal cancer cells to commit suicide, whereas normal cells are unaffected. Flavonoids actually also improve the linings of our blood vessels, prevent the clogging of our arteries. But just a little tips, if you add milk to your tea, you lose this effect. Okay, so according to Archive of Internal Medicine, it shows a 50% reduction in hypertension risk for people who take tea regularly as well. So in Tea Cottage, we like to use traditional Chinese medicine in our blends. So in Singapore, most people love coffee. But in Chinese medicine term, coffee is yang in energy, means it's warming, it disperses and scatters our energy or qi in our body. So it causes the adrenal glands to release adrenaline, producing an increased energy high, but eventually a down cycle of fatigue later in the day. So you get the high and the lows. So over time, excess coffee can overwork and deplete your energy. It's diuretic, it causes your body to lose fluid. You have symptoms like night sweat, hot flashes, even jittery hands, and heart discomfort as well if you have overdose of caffeine. So for a rule of thumb, a person can have probably 500 milligrams of caffeine. So a cup of coffee is 120 to 150 milligrams. So it will be safe that we can take probably 3 cups of coffee a day. Whereas for tea, the range of caffeine is 30 to 65 milligrams only. So it's okay to take probably 8 cups of tea. I myself, I take 12 to 16 cups of tea a day and 3 to 5 cups of plain water. On the other side, tea is actually more cooling by nature. It consolidates the energy rather than scattering it. So you experience an increased energy, but without the highs and lows. And like I said, it only has half of the caffeine in coffee. So this is a very good substitute. So for people who are actually addicted to coffee, you can try drinking matcha. Matcha actually has the highest content of caffeine at 65 milligrams because while harvesting matcha, we shade it to produce more caffeine, and you are consuming the whole leaf rather just brewing the water. So this is research by NUS, research over 7 years, and it shows that Singaporeans or humans who drink tea actually reduce our dementia risk by 50%. If there is a dementia patient in your family, it will reduce your risk by 86% due to genetic reasons. And it improves the brain health as well. So increase the connectivity, the memory, and alertness. So how to choose a good cup of tea? Often many people ask me, but my first step is always personal preference. Chinese we call 色香味俱全. Because if you don't love that taste, you don't like that tea, it's very difficult to force someone to drink something that they doesn't like. So second is body constitution, yin and yang. So a lot of ladies in Singapore actually don't understand the theory between yin and yang. Women are born yin in nature. So just let me give you an example. In the ancient days, my grandma, she ate porridge, cai xing, or just porridge with soya sauce, and she can easily give birth to 8 children. But looking at my peers right now, sometimes they even have problems even getting a single pregnancy. So actually the problem comes from the body is too cooling. So just imagine the womb is too cooling, like an aircon room, the baby couldn't survive. That's why there's a lot of miscarriage and difficulty in getting pregnant. So what causes that to be too cooling? Nowadays, the ladies like to drink ice cold drink, bubble tea, ice cream, ice cold beer. So this actually causes the body to become very cooling, and it affects the pregnancy and the ability to become pregnant as well. So thirdly, we always choose loose tea over tea dust. If you visited tea farms before, tea dust are the tea that we actually walk on it. We doesn't want it. Probably a kilo sells for $1 US. But if we are mass manufacturing it, what we do is we will skip a very important process called filtration. So when we harvest the tea leaves, sometimes there'll be impurities like bugs, hairs, cockroaches. So we have to filter out and we only remain all the tea leaves. So, but if I'm doing a tea dust, what the processors will do is they will just throw everything into the tea grinder. So in your tea, there'll be a lot of impurities, including bugs, hairs, cockroaches, maybe. So fourth, we don't want any artificial flavorings or natural flavorings in our tea. And fifth is pesticide-free. So these are the 5 rules for tea cottage as well. So 90% of the tea in the market actually contains artificial and natural flavorings. Flavoring are ambiguous. Natural flavorings are created for anything that can be eaten. Artificial flavors comes from anything that is inedible. So right now with today's technology, I can make iced lemon tea without lemon and tea. I just add some chemical compounds and you get your lemon tea. So if you look at the label, it's important that we always look at the label for any food that we eat or consume. There's soy and natural flavorings. So if there is a very good flavorings inside, just like rose or cinnamon, I'll be proud to do it, to put inside the ingredients rather than mask over this called natural flavoring. So if you look at, you can easily find all these resources online. Starbucks sell Tivana's tea, they put artificial flavorings, natural flavorings, and other sorts of ingredients inside their tea. So this is by the CEO of Numi Tea. It's actually, they use natural flavors to trick the consumer to think that they are buying something that is better and cleaner. For artificial flavorings, we have the nitrates. We put it in luncheon meat and hot dogs as well. I remember when I was young, my mom always tell me, you can't eat more than 12 hot dogs a month or you will get cancer. But I know that my pocket money is around $1. A hot dog is probably 20 cents. So I still have my hot dogs every day. So eating hot dogs frequently will increase the risk of getting esophageal, stomach, and colon cancer. But there's this artificial flavorings that most people actually doesn't know about that, and it's slowly killing a lot of people. It's high fructose corn syrup. Ever since US introduced this high HFCS, the obesity rate tripled, diabetes incidence is up more than 70%. If you go to the States before, the Coke, the soda are all free flow. You can top up any cups, how many cups that you want. It's packed with a lot of calories, so it makes a person fatter in no time. Increase the cholesterol level leads to diabetes, heart disease, obesity, cancer, dementia, a chain of side effects. Okay, so if you look at the green color sugar, it's sweetened with stevia and used cane sugar. The red color one in the past is sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, as you can see. But recently I saw that Singapore Coke, they use original taste, less sugar, so they sweeten with artificial flavorings, sweetener. Okay, so what is sugar and what is high fructose corn syrup? If you look at the diagram below, actually sugar chemical term is called sucrose. Sucrose is 50% glucose and 50% fructose, and there's a chemical link in between, and we need to digest this chemical link. But for high fructose corn syrup, we probably have 40% glucose and 60% fructose, making it more sweeter. But there isn't this chemical link. And what happens if we don't need to digest this molecule? It's immediately when we drink high fructose corn syrup, the glucose will go into our bloodstream, immediately spike up our insulin level. So over time, when the body is overworked, we get type 2 diabetes. So fructose will immediately be absorbed into our liver, increasing our triglyceride level, and hence become fatty liver. Okay, so in the supermarkets or in the food chain, there's so many products that is infused with high fructose corn syrup because it's cheap and it tastes better. So make your choice wisely. So vanilla is from an orchid native in Mexico. It's very expensive to make it. So the scientists found a cheaper way to make vanillin in the lab. As you have guessed, in 2006, the Japanese researcher figured out how to extract vanillin from cow dung, and she was awarded the Nobel Prize. So I told my dad, because my dad loves to eat vanilla ice cream from McDonald's, I told him that the ice cream that he ate might be from cow dung. But he wasn't shocked. He said, do you know what water you are drinking every day? It's new water. Okay, so just a joke aside. So pesticides in tea, even in Canada and other countries, there's so many articles. Okay, while to increase the harvest, they use probably 10 to 20 different types of pesticides, and there's a lot of YouTube videos on it. So I urge that you can watch some of the videos. You can find this online as well. What are the chemicals hiding in your cup of tea? So these are the popular tea brands with toxic pesticide, GMO, and harmful packaging. Okay. So the selection process for tea cottage, we try to find farms that are organic or pesticide-free. So the rose, this is a French rose. When we take the French rose, it's filled with worms holes. So I can't give it to my consumers. I have to filter out probably 50% of it and sell the rest of the 50%, and hence the cost price is more expensive. So the first step is we will get the lab report from the farmers, organic report from the farmers as well if they have. Then before trusting the farmers, we will go to AVA and do a report and make sure that pesticides is not detected or believe a very safe level, because we only sell what we drink. So this is one of our best seller. It's a year 1990 Pu'er tea. It's been around for 32 years. So this is Jolene Tsai Yiling's favorite tea as well. It's her slimming tea. Every day, every morning when she wakes up, she has to drink Pu'er tea. Okay, so that is her sharing. What is Pu'er tea? Pu'er tea is hugely popular in China for more than 1,700 years. In the ancient days, we use it as a tribute to emperor and high officials only, and we use it as a medicinal tea. So if I feel nauseous, I have diarrhea, I drink Pu'er tea. The name comes from the market town Pu'er, and for Pu'er to taste well, normally we take 10 years for it to mature, just like fine wines. So the health benefit of Pu'er tea, it reduces the bad cholesterol, lower triglyceride level, blood sugar, prevent heart disease, okay, aid in weight loss. So when I started drinking Pu'er, for the first 3 months, I recall I lost around 7 kilos. So it helps to elevate arthritis, asthma, aid digestion, promotes bowel regularity. So for Singaporeans, probably a lot of ladies suffer from constipation. This will be a very good tea. It aids sleep. For old Pu'er, it actually aids sleeps, but for the new harvest Pu'er, it doesn't. So I have to take note. Anti-aging, prevent stress, boost immune system, detox, and lastly, it has a good investment value. So the next slide will be a bit disturbing if you're having your meals. So refrain from looking at it. Okay, so I sent my friends and my staff to do a colon check, colonoscopy. Okay, and all of them came up with polyps. I'm the only one who came up with nothing, but I'm the most unhealthy. They always call me Nasi Lemak King. My dad is called Nasi Briyani King. We eat fast food our whole life. So if my colleagues and friends eat home-cooked food, but they still have polyps and they're in their 20s and early 30s. So what is polyps? Polyps after 3 to 5 years will evolve into colon cancer. And right now, I don't think doing a check after 50 years old will help, because even people in their teenage years have polyps as well. So this is my dad. I use him as an example. He's born in year 1953. He's fat. His triglyceride level is over. His cholesterol level desirable is at 6.5. Desirable is at 5.2. His bad cholesterol is way high as well. So if you look at him, the button is popping out as well. So after drinking, I put him on a sequence of 2 cups of pu'er tea every day. His blood pressure was 160 plus, and it drops after 6 months to 128/75. For a man who's almost 70 years old, I think this is very good. And if you look at the cholesterol level, it's actually it's only 191. 191 is probably at 5 only. Previously, it's at 6.5. And his LDL went to desirable level. His triglyceride went back to optimal level. He maintained the same eating habits and just introduced 2 more cups of pu'er tea. So every year I sent him for medical check. His cholesterol from 6.5 dropped to 5. And a few years back, I sent him to angiogram and calcium scoring, because over the years, he always complains of heart discomfort. So his birthday gift is this. So calcium scoring, actually, if you have some impurities in your arteries, cholesterol or plaque, it will be indicated there. So it's from 0 or more than 400. So after drinking 6 years of pu'er tea, his results for the 9 heart arteries are all 0. It's quite impossible, even for young people right now. It's quite difficult to get 0 with our eating habits. So we are really amazed. The doctor is amazed as well. And if you look at the 9 arteries, it's all cleared. There's no blockage at all for a person who is almost 70 years old. And this is very remarkable, just with 2 cups of pu'er tea every day. So now we talk about investment value. This photo probably I took 10 years before. And year 1993 pu'er break, which is 357 grams, costs $3,000 in Chinatown. And we cross across the street to Yuhua Shopping Center. A 50 years old tea is $33,000 and $30,000. Few years back, I went back to Yuhua Guohuo. The $33,000 tea is sold out, but the 30,000 tea is still there, and now it costs $50,000. And that is the appreciation. If I put this money in POSB Bank, I'm sure probably it goes up by $10 or $15. But this went up by a whooping $20,000. So this is a 100 years old tea from Qing Dynasty. It's auctioned for $10 million renminbi, which is 2 million odd Sing dollars. How I wish my great-grandfather have left me just some tea in the past. So coming back to modern days, my own investment, I invested in this tea probably 8 years or 9 years back. When I bought it, it's quite cheap. So for just a wholesale price, a small box of this tea, it's in 2019, when I look at the pricing for wholesale price, it's $465,000. Okay, just for a small box of tea, renminbi. Then after that, few months later, it increased to $710,000 renminbi. So probably 1 year ago, while doing another seminar, the price increased to 1.85 million renminbi, which is around 400,000 Sing. So a box of tea, actually, you can buy a Maserati. And this is the type of investment returns you can get. For pu'er tea, normally the average return is around 20%. But with good tea, that means the branded tea, you can get probably 100 to 400% increment. So this 3 kind of tea in 2003, it's selling for 69,000 renminbi. Okay, but at today's value, it's 100 million renminbi for 3 boxes of tea. Next, I'll talk about snow chrysanthemum. Some of you might not have heard before. Snow chrysanthemum is the top-notch chrysanthemum in the world. It's only grown in Kunlun Mountains. In Chinese, we call it Kunlun San. So in all the novels and all the shows, Kunlun Mountains are all the gods and deities' leaves. Okay, so there's a lot of very heavenly bees of flowers. Okay, so they widely compare snow chrysanthemum to Changbaisan Rensen, the wild ginseng of Changbaisan. It's grow at an altitude of $3,000, but of course at 3,000 meters, no, we can't get it. So our tea probably is at 2,000 over meters. But due to the popularity of snow chrysanthemum, a lot of farmers actually take the seeds and grow in their back garden. So imagine now in my yard, I grow a ginseng. Even if you eat that ginseng, there will be no health benefits. So we only take wild snow chrysanthemum. This is very important. And that's why when we sell a small tin of 30 grams, it's at $40. But if you look at the market, you can get it at $5. So that is the difference. So this is the tea that is caffeine-free. In Chinese, we call 美容养颜降三高. So it's detox. It helps to detox and anti-aging. Okay, and there is studies shown that it helps to prevent and improve type 2 diabetes condition. Okay, and I have a lot of customers that feedback that is very good for type 2 diabetes. So this is the first black tea in the world. In Chinese, black tea, we call it Hong Cha. Okay, we call it 正山小种. If you look at it, the tea leaves is small. So it's the first black tea in the world, and it's imported as medicine and sold in pharmacies in London. But in recent years, it's known in England as the Royal Black Tea, but now it's so famous, even if you go to London, where the Queen bought her tea at Mason's, it's called Lap Sam Xiu Zhong as well. But if you look at their Lap Sam Xiu Zhong, they are all big leaves. 正山小种, like I said, 小种 means the leaves are very small and puny, and often we only take the bud. For big leaves, actually, these are the leaves that we don't want. Okay? So the health benefits are similar, but on my own experience, it helps to overcome hangover very well. So after drinking, if you feel nauseous, vomiting, or some headache, just drink some Lap Sam and it will be over in 1 to 2 hours time. So Tie Guan Ning is actually longevity tea. Okay, I harvest my own Tie Guan Ning in the mountains of Anxi every autumn. For Tie Guan Ning, autumn tea is one of the best. And even in National Geographic, they say Tie Guan Ning tea is a tea for longevity. I experienced it myself. Later, I'll show you some videos on it. We have named this Tie Guan Ning as Iron Goddess. It's a premium range of oolong tea. So how does this name come about? Its legend has it 300 years ago, the goddess of mercy, Guan Yin Pusa, came into the dream of this scholar called Wei Ying and instruct him to the plant beneath the Guan Yin rock in Xiping. And after discovering this plant, he offered this tea to Qianlong Emperor on his visit. The emperor was very impressed, and hence this name was found. Okay, now coming to the benefits of Tie Guan Ning tea. It's very high in amino acids, and it helps to increase our metabolism, hence helping us to lose weight. So there's a Japanese research done, and it improves the skin condition for eczema and rashes as well. So 100% of the participants have an improved skin condition over a period of 6 months. So this is my farmer's mother. She's 102 years old. So I was surprised that when I visited her at night, without spectacles, she can actually weave. Okay, then after breakfast, actually I saw her plucking wheat, and she can able to bend down at 90 degrees. Okay, after lunch, I filmed her sawing wood. Okay, I mean at 100 over years old, I doubt even my granny at 70 or 80 years old will be able to do that. So this is actually very fascinating. So our blends of detox tea is actually after consulting our TCM doctor as well. So beauty are more for people who wants to beautify themselves and detox. They have gooseberries, rose, Tie Guan Ning, lotus leaf that helps us in weight loss. But for people who wants to have a more dosage on slimming, I'll recommend the Pura Detox. And we have tried it over a period of 28 days. The loss is around 2 to 3 kilograms. So after taking this tea, if you find that probably on the first or second day, you might run to the toilet a few times. But after taking and you feel that there isn't any effect, probably you have taken some detox product before. So I took this photo from, I can't remember, Guardian or Watson in Singapore. So there's this component called Folium cassia androstifolia. In Chinese, we call xie ye. It's used in Chinese medicine when we cannot go to the toilet and pass motion, or we have constipation, but they actually add this into a detox product. So it's actually not good for your health. The results that you have is actually just water loss, it's not fat loss. And over time, you have a lot of damage to your health and the dependency on it to go to the toilet. So a long-term side effect is after 50 years old, you might need medical intervention to go to the toilet naturally. Okay, this is the leaves. In China, it's illegal to put it in any teas. But of course, in Singapore, we have been seeing it on all the detox products as well. So this berry tea is one of our bestseller in the ladies column. We put in 10 grams of the best dates, wolfberries, and longan, okay, into a tea bag. So what we do is actually we just put it into a thermal flask, steep it for 1 to 2 hours. Then we can drink it for the day. It's very good for anti-aging. There's a saying, 一天三早永远不会老. So it helps to reduce wrinkle, dry skin, 补血补气. So this is one of the best dates berry tea you can find in the market. So how do we know which red dates are good or infused with sulfur? So if you see that the red dates are very shining, looking very red and vibrant, these are the fake, so-called the fake sulfur-infused red dates. You don't need to put in the fridge. But real red dates, we have to keep in the fridge. Normally it's dull-looking, red in color. And the flesh is yellowish to brownish color, sometimes with one or two black dots. So if it's pure white, it's infused with sulfur. And the last test, we actually use it where we smell it. So we put the dates in a Ziploc. Then after half an hour or 1 hour, we open the Ziploc and we smell it. If there's a chemical smell, or in Chinese, we saw 刺鼻. So actually, these are the signs of sulfur-infused dates. So right now, a lot of TCM medicine and food are infused with sulfur as well. So coming to the last tea, this is our top seller, premium ceremonial grade matcha. So in the winter, the tea leaves actually hibernate, and when first spring occurs, all the nutrients actually go up to the tea bud, and we harvest that tea bud to make our matcha. So in the winter, there's no insects, so naturally it's organic. We don't need to spray any pesticides. And I always go to different areas in Japan to source for the tea leaves myself. So just my personal preference, during the Fukushima incident that happened, I think in 2011, the soil of Shizuoka, okay, is tainted with radioactive substance. Shizuoka is where the Mount Fuji is, and 70% of Japanese tea are produced in Shizuoka. Okay, I only take my tea in Uji. Uji is the birthplace of Japanese tea and is the place where the emperors and royalties get their tea since the ancient days. So Uji, we call it Uji cha as well. Okay, so we also go there to inspect the hills, the elevations, the minerals and rocks in the soil that makes a good cup of matcha. So these are the health benefits of matcha. There's a lot of antioxidants, fibers, and EGCG inside a cup of matcha. In our sachet, probably it's like that. We individually pack the sachet. It's 2 grams. Okay, so every morning you can just have a sachet. Okay, so there's a lot of articles about matcha. So they have done a research that matcha has actually 137 times more antioxidant than regular green tea. They actually use the Starbucks green tea as a comparison, means 137 times more anti-aging. Okay, it boosts metabolism, it increases the burning calorie rates by 400%. So if today I'm going for a run, before the run, I drink a cup of matcha. Instead of running 4 rounds today, probably I run 1 round. Okay, because it increased the rate of burning calories. It also shows to increase the fat oxidation by 17% and endurance by a whopping 30%. It helps to prevent cancer as well. There's a lot of research, you can Google it online. So in a nutshell, matcha has 137 times more antioxidant than a regular green tea, increase our metabolism for weight loss, increase our energy level, it fights cancer, anti-aging, lower cholesterol, and it's a stress relief. So for people who are stressed up, a bit depressed, you can have a cup of tea and it helps to weight loss and detox as well. So ceremonial grade matcha, why ceremonial? A lot of times when we go to the market, it's always matcha latte, matcha. The difference between matcha and ceremonial grade is the way how we process the matcha. We use a stone grinder to grind the matcha for an hour to get 30 grams of ceremonial grade matcha. But for other kinds of matcha, like the normal coloring grade matcha, actually we put it in the big drum with a lot of high heat and ball bearings. We can make hundreds to 1,000 kilos of matcha. But in the process, a lot of nutrients are lost. So actually you're just drinking the taste, but not the health effects. Okay, so this is the stone mill that we use. And we have the certificate for organic food, radiation, heavy metal. And lastly is a third-party endorsement that after trying so many matcha, our matcha is the most affordable and is one of the best. Okay, so if you want to get a good ceremonial grade matcha, we have the best from Uji. So with this, let me end this session with a 10% code, and I hope all of you will have a good night. Thank you.